Yo, what's up YouTube? My name is Corben Lee, or Chopsy1, which is a username I've had since I was about 7. But I just wanted to make this video, and this is the first video I've ever done where I'm kind of sat with a camera beside me, so I apologize if the quality is not the best. I'll work on it. But I wanted to make this channel really just to like document my journey and my learning, like running a business and like getting in good shape and basically just doing all these things and taking you along the ride basically, and like all the fun things I get to do, which currently is pretty minimal, which I'm early stages, but obviously I got some fun things planned later down the year. But currently I'm doing the monotonous things that no one likes doing, which if you run a business or you do anything like that, or you're starting a business, you'll know you end up just doing all the jobs that no one wants to do. I run a clothing brand at the moment called Zytra Athletics, which is like primarily just gym wear. I mean, it was not my first business. I've had a few, but nothing to like the same degree as far as like the capital investment I put towards it. Like as a kid, the where I got Chopsy1 from is I used to do like gaming content. I made like some money through that just for like, I used to edit people's photos and thumbnails and videos and all that jazz for crumbs. I know I was essentially working for like £2.50 an hour, but the mindset was still there. So that's kind of what I started with, and then I grew that up, and then I did drop shipping for a while, which was a disaster. No, it wasn't a disaster. It was. It was one of those things where I tried like selling fucking book lights and some wine holders, which another drop shipper actually did later on when I stopped, and then they started making like 6 figures a month. So that's brutal. But it's not something I could really see myself doing long term, just because I had no like care for it. And at the time when I was doing it, it was around when I was doing my A-levels. So that was good timing as always. So I was too busy to really dial myself into that properly, and it was around that period when I started getting into the gym. I've been training for about 3.5 years now, so yeah, around that point in time, and I was getting pretty big into fitness, and I was like, what, I want to make a gym wear brand because I thought I like the designing aspect. That's something I've always been quite passionate about. So yeah, I just took the risk. I went to my brother. I was like, let's start a clothing brand. I've got this big idea. Let's do it. And then he was like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go 50-50. And then it came around to like buying the bulk order, and the bulk was about, I think it was about 5.5 grand or around there. And yeah, he dropped out immediately. He was like, yeah, there's no way I'm spending almost 3 grand basically on this. So yeah, he folded almost immediately. Which, in retrospect, he got the good deal, because I then bought the bulk. I wasn't playing around. I bought in 250 units. So yeah, he left me with the full bulk order, and then I probably spent the first year trying to figure out how to market it. Made a few sales here and there in like my second year, and then sold about half. Bought a next drop, obviously using my better knowledge, but with a different manufacturer. And then I lost 2.5 grand due to a manufacturing error, where they essentially cocked up the order, which subsequently meant I couldn't sell anything. So like I was making like 7 sales a day, and then I couldn't even ship them because when I went to do the product tests, I checked them all, but I didn't notice the sizing was wrong, so that was fun. And then it kind of just brings us to today, where I know more than what I did. Obviously, I don't know everything. As I said, I'm still young. I'm 20, and it's impossible to know everything. And I think one of the bits of advice my dad gives me, and I would give to others, is don't always wait until something's 100% perfected, or don't wait until you know everything to start, because otherwise you'll never start. Like, for example, your website's never going to look perfect when you launch. You're never going to know everything about a business before you start, but as long as you're going to continue to progress your knowledge, then it should work out okay. So that's kind of my main message. But yeah, that's kind of where we are now. And as far as that clothing brand goes, I'm selling the remaining of my stock just through some like paid ads and stuff like that. But I'm basically going to launch a new clothing brand called Zytro. Growing that brand is my current priority. I'm just getting samples right now and just testing everything. And then I've also got a coaching one-on-one program which I'm doing, and that's currently just in the testing stages, where I'm like getting all like the videos and stuff to make sure that this program is like the best it can possibly be. I've just pulled up into the gym right now and I'm about to hit a quick little chest session, which should be pretty good. Just got finished training chest. Feeling decently pumped. I'm pretty depleted as far as carbs right now and just food in general. I've got my girlfriend around at the moment, and you know, one of the things which I'm working on is obviously the balance with improving my fitness, getting in like the best shape of my life while doing my business, and also just balancing that with my relationships and my family and stuff. So that's something I'm working on. I'm mostly on top of things, but yeah, today's training I didn't have much carbs or food, so it wasn't the greatest session, but I still went in there tunnel visioned, and overall it went pretty well. I mean, it wasn't the strongest today, but yeah, it was still a good session. Part of the fact that my headphones died in maybe the second I left my car, so that was good. So but overall though, I think one of the best things I can give advice to people is just to get into fitness. Whether it is like weightlifting or just athletics or something like that, but just any form of just physical fitness is just so beneficial for so many different reasons. Like not even just for like the sheer aesthetics for it. And I got into it, and I think most people who get into weightlifting go into it purely based on like I want to look really, really good. But like just aside from that, like you just feel so much better day in, day out, knowing that you've got that one thing each day which you can go in and, you know, do consistently and get into that routine, and you just feel so much more confident and stuff. Like one of the biggest things for me, like when I was getting to fitness, and well, the reason why I got into fitness to begin with is after COVID, I had an average of 10 to 20 steps per day for the entire of COVID. And I know some people say like, oh, I gained weight during COVID. I don't gain weight very easily, so I was pretty skinny fat, was in terrible shape, and it used to be quite funny. I used to go on walks with my dog. Mind you, it's a Shih Tzu. It's not like a dog that needs, you know, a marathon or a mile even to walk. It's literally like, you know, a straight line down, like just some street, and that's enough walking for my dog. But even that, I'd like have to like sit down on the pavement or in the grass to be like sick because I was so unathletic. And to pale that pre-COVID, I used to be a 100 and 200 meter sprinter. I used to compete for a club, and I was doing really well for myself, and I always wanted to perform at a really top level in the things I do. And whenever I get passionate about something, that's one of the things it always lingers on my mind. When I was into running, you know, every week I was running, and I all I could think about was running and the technique and learning that. When I was into gaming, I wanted to be the best, and I practice every day. Editing, I practice every day, and now when it comes to business, which is my next thing, when like running like the clothing brands and getting into the one-on-one coaching sphere, you know, that's just where all my time and my mental energy and capacity is going towards, is just learning the ins and outs. And I love learning these different like tad bits of information, because, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you can't know everything, and you know, that's the beauty of it really. And you don't know what you don't know until you kind of trial and error it. So yeah, it's good. I'm happy with my current fitness levels as well right now. I'm not in the best shape of my life, nor the biggest, but I'm kind of like, I'm getting back there. At my peak, I was about 95 kg. I was pretty chunky. I kind of looked like a gorilla. I didn't shave. I had this thick ass beard. I kind of got some stubble going because my razor broke, so I've had to order a new one. But aside from that, I'm not the biggest or the strongest I've been, but I'm so like dialed in right now in my diet. Like I'm not eating very much today, but I know by the end of the day I'll have had all all my macros for the day. I've obviously done my training. And it's just that consistency of doing it day in and day out. And I work from 8 till 1 p.m. fasted, just because I find if I eat like a big meal or even a smaller meal, and then I go work, I find my mental clarity is all fogged, and I can never work as hard or as focused or tunnel visioned when I eat beforehand. So I have to do it fasted. But that's just things you learn. And I bought this big whiteboard now, which is about 80% of my room space, and I write down my like to-do list on there, and I can like check it off. I've got my 3 main goals, which is this YouTube channel, Zytro, my clothing brand, and then the one-on-one coaching, which are the 3 things I'm working on. And I've always struggled with like, not the trust in myself per se, but the trust in the routine I give myself. Although the routines and the schedules and the plans I've always given myself have been the most on point, like the amount of research I put into them for like how much I need to do per day to maximize the results I need. Sometimes I overthink it, and I still make like the rash decision not to follow my schedule because I think, oh, I need to do this instead. But I'm finally now in a schedule where I've just got so much belief in it, and it's very rewarding in the way I've planned it all out, so that I can tackle these different challenges and stuff. And I mean, that's kind of about it. I really just wanted to make this video to kind of say where I'm at as far as my training goes, my business, and really just where my mindset's at. And I want to be making one of these videos where I just sit down, I talk quite raw and just authentic, and just speak what's on my mind, talk about what my plans are, as well as like making some videos on like my training, or like just documenting what I'm doing for the business and stuff, especially like next month in August when I've got the new brand basically up and running. I'm going to start my marketing campaigns because I'm going to do some really cool shoots. So I definitely want to record some stuff for that. But yeah, that's about it. Peace out.